All right, here we are. Got another little coffee drinking stream going. I had a video that I was going to break down. This video here, the New York Times put out. It's called, well, of course, the title is only going to be visible up here because it's on a playlist or whatever, but the title of the video is How Liberal Hypocrisy is Fueling American Inequality. And it's from the New York Times. And so one of the things, if you're someone that happens to have ever seen any of my manic Facebook rants prior to doing any kind of like YouTube stuff, the difference, or the distinction anyways, between liberal with a capital L and progressive is something that I try to be mindful of, and I try to keep in mind when I'm discussing these types of topics. So anyways, what's interesting is that basically, if you're up on like Antifa bullshit, you know that as far as the ideologues are concerned, liberals get the bullet too. And because liberals, I'm talking with a capital L, I'm not using the term liberal the way that a host on Fox News might, to just discuss someone that votes for Democrats within the American political system. I'm referring to the actual definition of the word, which is someone whose primary concern is individual rights. So anyways, I think this video is pretty interesting. It's going to be interesting to do a little breakdown of, but I'm going to do that later. This one I think will be a little more fun for just kind of a morning video with some coffee. So we obviously live in the Maoist times of 2022, and because we're Maoists, everything is politics. That's kind of one of the major advents of Mao when he was doing his thing. And that's one of the ways that he was able to basically leverage the younger population against the older population, was by by associating every action, every tradition, every taboo, every faux pas, every thought or idea or philosophy that had come before it, by associating all of those with, kind of the old way of life, a defunct way of life, an obsolete way of life that was less virtuous. They were able to turn children against their parents and grandparents, turn children against their teachers, which that part might not be that hard, but it's pretty nasty stuff. And you certainly see the remnants of that here today. And this is one such demonstration of the Maoist times that we live in. You might remember from a couple years back, maybe 3 years, Gillette had a commercial that was basically all about how fucking shitty it is to be a man and how we all just stand around and let little children beat the shit out of each other without ever stopping them or anything like that. And, a lot of bullshit and a lot of bitching about toxic masculinity. And I'm not sure if maybe I've just missed the news stories, but obviously there's a war going on, and they were talking about Ukrainian civilians all getting conscripted and armed and stuff like that. And it's just interesting when it comes down to like defending, the homeland of the nation that the mainstream media has deemed the right side of history. No one's bitching about toxic masculinity when it comes to that. No one's like, oh, Zelensky's playing for tougher Russia sanctions. That's too confrontational. No. People don't bitch about masculinity when shit actually goes down. Anyways, let's see what Oreo has to say here. Yes, Oreo, the cookie company. They've got a commercial about coming out. So, coming out doesn't just happen once. It's a journey that needs love and courage every step of the way. Share our new film and let someone know you're their lifelong ally. So this is one thing that's pretty funny. When it comes to woke corporate bullshit, typically what they do is a giant corporation with a giant consumer base that's about as wide as it could be, even wider than Oreos. Let's say Coca-Cola or something like that, right? Pepsi had a commercial that was kind of notable for its riot imagery. or protest imagery, anyways. But yeah, so Oreo here has taken it a step further, actually. See, when you do the woke corporate thing, and when you do the woke corporate thing, and you make a commercial about trans athletes or about gay marriage or whatever it might be, not that those two things are the same level of contentious, but when you do that commercial, you're basically targeting, a percent of the population or whatever it might be. It could be 5%, but you're targeting a small audience, and excuse me, you're targeting that audience, and anyone who's watching is going to kind of interpret that. Someone who's watching might interpret that as a virtue signal, because you're targeting that large audience, trying to just look good for the 99% of people who also buy Coke. This is the next level, and this is the evolution of where this is going. This is marketing directly towards allies. So this is not geared toward, they still want to let gay cookie consumers and gay cookie consumers of color, Cox, G-Cox, gay cookie consumers of color. They want to let them know that, Oreo has their back, and they want to let you know as a non-gay person that you need to be an ally to the gay people in your life while eating Oreos. So let's just see what they do. Try to make this a little bigger.
是一家人，你们绕过半个地球来着，就是想给我们更好的生活。
All right, I'm pretty, I don't think they did it on, he's speaking Korean maybe? I'm not sure what language he's speaking, but hopefully the subtitles are large enough to read. Basically, he's talking about somebody coming from far away so they could live the life they wanted to live. I think this guy's about to come out to his parents. But what was funny is that, I don't know if it was Korean or, I think it's Korean, but something he said sounded just like gay woman. Let's see if we can find this. Let's see if we can hear it.
就是想给我们更好的生活。
That sounds just like gay women. Did you hear that?
就是想给我们更好的生活。
That's fucking hilarious. So apparently what he's saying right there, if the translation matches up with the subtitles perfectly, which it might not, is so we can have a better life. So apparently part of that sentence sounds like gay woman.
可是我是。 可是，我爱你。
爱。
爱。我爱你。
I think you're ready.
你呢？你 ready 了？
Okay, so this guy was, it's not totally clear what their relationships are, but this dude is seemingly rehearsing a tear-felt message and receiving some encouragement from his family. They haven't made it completely clear what the message is yet. He kept repeating, I love, and they kind of, I think, want to make the viewer think that he's going to tell someone like, I love men or something like that. He winds up saying, I love you, and then a woman who is a supportive friend says, I think you're ready. And then there's a ring at the doorbell, and everyone's like, oh shit, get ready, eat some Oreos. What's also interesting is he's got his note, I guess I'm going to say script, for lack of a better term. He wrote a little script for himself to follow. And I think he has English and Korean written on there. So that's kind of interesting. And again, I'm assuming Korean just because that's what it sounds like to me. I could be totally wrong. Okay, so I think his mother is being supportive, and he's going to tell his grandparents that he's gay, maybe. I mean, okay, so there's never a moment in here where he comes out at all. I think the idea is that his family already knows, and then they're supportive, and he was going to tell his grandparents, and so that's kind of the theme of this, which is coming out doesn't just happen once. So I guess it's the idea that every step along the way, you'll need to inform different people in your family or social network that you're gay or whatever. Anyways, I just, it's like it's a dramatic Oreo commercial. Their commercials used to be about fucking flipping, or ripping Oreos apart with a friend and like seeing who got the cream side and who got the plain side or whatever. Yeah. This person right here might have the right outlook on this. Frankly, there was nothing in the ad that was like crazy objectionable. Not that I would expect there to be if it's an ad about some guy coming out. It's just literally the fact that they made it is the news. And Peter Coffin here has got it pretty much down. Whether or not the terminology he uses is something I'd agree with, but he draws the liberal distinction and progressive distinction that I was referring to earlier. Oreos on the outrage bait train. The point is to get reactionaries to attack so progressives defend. And that's why I'm not making this video saying, like, fuck Oreo. Because that's just too basic of a reaction. This is how they get people who might otherwise be critical of capital to align and bond with good companies. And so this is an interesting little point he's making here. Again, I've heard of this guy. I kind of forget what his shtick is, but interesting little point here. And yeah, like I was saying earlier, they used to go with the woke marketing for the small percentage group. They used to go for, the trans people and say, hey, we, Oreo, support trans people, for instance. And that is just a more narrowly focused virtue signal than telling everyone that they need to be good allies and that Oreo is a good company to align with. And then, yeah, last point, also good. In the meantime, the public argument forces Oreo's name onto the news, which I guess I'm doing right now. Wow, okay. Shout out to this Peter guy. Capital has no legitimate business talking about who you fuck, positively or negatively. They're attempting to direct consumers, which he spelled with two O's. I wonder if that was on purpose. They're attempting to direct consumers to enact an agenda that benefits them. So, this is totally true. Totally true. Let's take a look at this gentleman. He's a video essayist with important D's. cutting through ideology that impedes our understanding of how and why society is ruled by the powerful. So I think, to be frank, I think this dude is kind of critiquing this commercial from the other side of me, where he is an ideologue. And when he says cutting through the ideology, I think what they want is to just kind of like make sure that the narrative reconciles his ideology with reality. It's pretty interesting site here. This might be good to take a look at some point. They've got an old white guy saying, "I just don't get racism" on a sweater, which would be fucking hilarious to see someone actually wear. Anyways, we'll keep this one short. To be frank, I guess I should have watched it ahead of time. I didn't think that the thing was going to be all subtitles, but I think that we covered the most important aspect of it. And what that is keep an eye out when you see this type of advertising for who the target is. Is the target the small group that they are theoretically standing up for, the LGBT community? Or is the target the large group that is everyone? And if you say, in this situation, like I said, it's not a particularly objectionable situation. This guy's just coming out to his grandma or something, apparently, so more power to him, I guess. But if you're the person who says, I think it's if you mention that Oreo doing a commercial about sexual orientation is Maoist because they make cookies for fucking 3-year-olds, then you're the one person who is not the target audience. So they want to make the target audience everyone who's not willing to stand up and just say, hey, this seems a little bit too political for a fucking cookie company. So anyways, thank you for checking that out with me. I'm going to put a link in the description to the video, to the ad itself. For what it's worth, it shot pretty well. But this seems like some shit that, like, Oreo would have... There's one shot in the entire commercial that has Oreos. And it's just like Oreos happen to be there when this, conversation in the family happens. It could also easily be chairs, They happen to be sitting in chairs. It could be the fucking paper. This guy's written his little speech out on, like, a legal pad. It could be the paper advertising, this is the best paper to write your coming out notes on or whatever. So anyways, take care, y'all. Happy Monday. And perhaps this evening or maybe tomorrow I'll come back with a thorough takedown or breakdown anyways of this New York Times liberal hypocrisy video. It's going to be pretty good, I think, because it's interesting the New York Times is putting this out. I think this is a real ideological move on the chessboard, so to speak. Take care, y'all.